Hi, this is Jack Downs with a quick screencast of your Intro to Movie Studio assignment. First thing, you should have your assignment paperwork, your exercise in front of you on paper. I'm going to follow along with that. It'll explain the beginning. As is my suggestion, usually you should make your project folder. It should have 3 subfolders. Then you should go to Moodle, and here I am. And you go to the Resource Files and Files folder. And you should download these 2 files, Dancers and Parade, into the Originals folder of your project folder. Of course, I don't know if you're using these folders, but at least please make a single folder for the project so you can keep yourself somewhat organized and keep track of your stuff. But these are the 2 files you're going to need for the exercise. Now you're going to go and launch Movie Studio. Where do you find Movie Studio? Movie Studio is there could be an icon on your desktop, which will look like this, an M. So that would be fine. But also you could find it under Vegas, V for Vegas. So if you scroll down to V, Vegas, there it is, the M, Movie Studio 16. So click on that. And you will find this software in our classroom. You'll find this software in Ward 114, so you can work there. And you should find this software on a number of computers in the main computer lab over in Feinberg. You may have to ask them which computers that is on. Movie Studio. Sometimes it's called Vegas Movie Studio, sometimes it's called Sony Movie Studio, but it's supposed to be installed there. So please check that out. And you're going to need to use one of those places for this exercise and all the later ones as we're doing editing, because it's this is the software that you need, and you are expected that you're not purchasing the software, and it is not free. You will just use it on the college computers. Sorry, I had a little glitch there. This is a new version that the college just purchased. Vegas Movie Studio 16 is a fine program. However, what they really should have purchased, and if you're buying this yourself, it would be Movie Studio 16 Platinum or the Pro version, which is what we used to have here, but they purchased the slightly less expensive version. In any case, why do we use this software in this class? This is a little bit easier learning curve than some of the stuff which is on the higher end, like Adobe Premiere. Yet it can do most everything that Premiere can do. It's a very commonly used software in the web industry, in particular. Maybe not in broadcast for sure. No, but this, especially the 16 version without the Platinum or the Pro, is a bit more on the consumer side. It's also a chance to use another kind of software, which I think can be useful. However, if you're buying stuff yourself, it is much less expensive than buying the Adobe products. So that's the reason. Okay, when you open up open up Movie Studio for the first time, and again, the caution that sometimes I call it Vegas, sometimes I call it Sony, because the name has changed back and forth. When you open it up, you may very well have like an ad come up, which you can just close. Usually the first time is an ad for more software or something. Then you're confronted with this kind of screen here. You probably won't have these choices over here, but you don't have any existing projects you're already working on, right? Fine. It may be set on widescreen or on tall, but you want widescreen and you want power user mode. So click on power user mode. That's what we should do. And then it immediately wants to save your project. It's saving a .vf file. See that? And this is a good time to save the project, because honestly, you don't have any choice. If you say cancel, it's just going to come right back. You got to save the project. Vegas really wants that project made and saved. So according to your instructions, I can't remember. It says something about how to save it, but we'll call this intro. Your name and intro will be fine. So Jack intro. I already made one, so I'll call this one intro 2. Jack intro 2. And I'm not putting this in testing. Where are you going to put it? Of course, you're going to go to your drive. Mine is red. It's dangerously full. And you already made your folders. I have mine. I've got my Movie Studio intro. That's what I named my project folder. This would be in working, and I'm going to name it Jack intro, and I'm going to save it there. Good. By the way, there was a box there which said something about saving the files along with it, which is an option for you. I'm depending on you putting the files in the folder and then saving the project folder there. It is one of the neat little changes in this software that they give you the option on that first save of the project to save the files, along with it. I'll show you what I mean. If I do save as, it's this checkbox right here, this checkbox. So if you did that, then as you added files to the program, it would save copies of them into whatever folder you had, sort of like saving them for you, which is another workflow you could consider. Okay, so we have a big program here. What does it mean? What do we do? Well, I want to show you that the first part of this assignment is to actually learn some things about the program. And I've given you 1 to 10 questions you have to answer. How are you going to answer those questions? Go to the Show Me How. Show Me How, which you can get to up here or you can get to through the project menu. But there's the button right there, Show Me How. Show Me How brings up the tutorials and the information and how to learn about the program. And in your instructions, I tell you to use these 1, 2, 3, 4 first tutorials, and they will literally just walk you through. It's not a video. It's actually having you click on things in the program. So, and it will give you information, and that information will apply directly to the questions I ask you to answer. So please do this, and then consider actually going through even more of these. You can go more and more and more. Editing video and still images, I think that would be really useful to do. Editing audio might be useful to do. Editing text, and that would be useful. Exporting a project, sure, why not? So learning any and all these things would be important. At least do the basics. But please consider spending some time with the program and doing more of these. Okay, and in some cases of some of the later tutorials, you may need to use some files in the tutorials. Well, use some of the files we just downloaded. Use those. Okay, so I'm going to imagine you've done all that, and now I'm going to ask you to do your first little edit. That's the second part of the assignment. First part of the assignment is to make this text file answers to those 10 questions and throw it into the Moodle Dropbox. As usual, a Word document or a PDF. Good. Now you need to make the edit. So you got those 2 files here. How do you get stuff into the program? Well, you can click on Add Media, and this is actually explained in those little tutorials too. And then you could go here and click on both of those and add them together, or one and then the other one. Here's the deal. One of the issues with this program, or to make it easier in a way, they've decided that whenever you put something in the project media bin, this tab here, it automatically puts it on the timeline, which I find annoying. But anyway, that's fine. If you know what clips you want in what order, though, it's fine. I know that first you're going to use Parade, then you're going to use Dancers, then you're going to use Parade again. So I could just click on Parade and say Open. It will put it in the first position in my media bin, and it will throw it down here. Notice that up here, I can actually scroll through this mini here and see it like that. I want to be reminded about what's where. Okay, I can do that. Also, it's put it out on the timeline. If I put my cursor anywhere in here, I can see on the timeline where I am in the preview window, video preview window, where I am. And at any point, I can use these little buttons here to play and actually listen to the audio too, which you may not hear very much because my speakers are not up loud and they're some distance away from the microphone, but it is playing the audio. I can see the audio sliders here showing me what the volume levels are, which are actually pretty good and high. If I have my volume turned way down, and I can pause it, I can stop it, and so on. And then I can move to a different place. I can play little bits of it. And there are more tools you can use here, like play from start, next, so on. You can actually add more buttons up here and stuff too. But anyway, it flopped it down there. Anyway, but what if well, let's imagine now the first part of the assignment was I wanted you to make 5 seconds, choose 5 seconds of this. Well, how can you tell what is 5 seconds? One of the key skills I want you to work on is zooming around in the program, on the timeline in particular. What I want you to do is realize that, yes, you have a scroll bar down here, but it's doing very little right now. You see the whole thing. But what if you want to zoom in? We call this zooming in time. If you take your cursor and look at mine over on the right-hand side, if you take your cursor and hover over the edge of the scroll bar, it becomes a double arrow. And if I squeeze it and make the scroll bar narrower, in other words, smaller, make the scroll bar smaller, I'm now looking at just a few seconds. In this case, 34 seconds and something. And I can see the numbers up there. It's saying seconds, and then the other zeros that follow it are frames. That'll make more sense after we learn more about video. Okay, so here we go. I want 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 seconds, I said. I could take just the first 5 seconds. I could take a middle 5 seconds, whatever. How do I make that shorter? Well, first off, I'm going to make it so I can see the whole thing. I can see where 5 seconds is. I'm going to take the first 5 seconds. If I hover over, in this case, the audio or the video, you can see I have audio here, right? 2 tracks. And video, that's the video side. I can see that they're on a video and an audio track over here, right? But they're tied together. They're linked together because they're from the same event. And they came in together. If I hover over the end, it will let me close it up like that. Or on this end, it will let me close, on this end, like this. It will let me close it up on this end. So I can actually move around and just select a portion of it. And I want to make sure I'm at the very beginning. And I'm just going to take 5 seconds. And you would, of course, be listening and choosing a certain 5 seconds. It's not that important for us here. I just want you to get used to the idea of finding 5 seconds. Be able to see it's 5 seconds, right? I can put my cursor at the end of it, and I can see I'm at the 5-second mark. Don't be worried by the fact that it says 0, 1. That means 5 seconds in one frame. Yeah, just close enough, okay? Now, I want to get the other one, which was the dancers, right? And I have it in my originals. There it is there. This time I want to show you a different way to bring it in. If I just grab dancers and go either add media, let's do it like that first. Add media, dancers, and say, okay, open. It's going to throw it down there. Throw it consecutively. Another group, big, and the whole thing just like that. But what if I want more control over this, to where I put it and stuff like that? And by the way, don't worry about the fact that it's up here. That's fine. I can just grab that oops, just do Control Z. I can grab this video and I can move it to the video tracks are all just video tracks. I can move it right here consecutively. It would have played the same if I had it up here. It's the same, works the same way. Okay, but anyway, I'm going to delete it from here, which deletes it also from my bin, which is a new feature of the program, which is a little hard to get used to, but I'm getting used to it. Instead, I could go to my originals. I could just grab the dancers. I could just drag it out and drop it someplace on my timeline if I want to drop it someplace else. Okay. All right. And now I'm gonna drag that over. But again, I only want 5 seconds of it. I'm just gonna take this 5 seconds right there, like that. And now I want to get my parade again. I'm gonna do 5 different seconds of the parade now. So I do parade, dancers, parade. Okay. But the point is that I want to do a if I grab this parade and just drag and drop it down here, it's just going to be the same 5 seconds. Yes, I could open this up and move it around and stuff, but instead, why don't I just go grab a new version of parade from my originals, drag and drop it down here, and then minimize that, and I'm going to take a different 5 seconds. I'm just going to close it up, move it around. Make sure when you go to grab it, you actually have the regular hand tool like this and not this hand, which changes opacity. Okay, so you see how your hand tool changes. So make sure you grab in the right place where you can grab like a fist like that. Scroll down here and I close it up to 5. Get to my there. So I've got 5 seconds, 5 seconds, 5 seconds, a total of 15 seconds. I could watch the whole thing all together. Put my cursor at the beginning, like that, for instance, and watch it over here. What happens, like that. There's the parade, and here come the dancers, right? And then here comes the parade again. Okay, good. So I like that very much. I'm going to save my project as I go. Control S is fine. But honestly, I think this now the project is auto saves in Sony Vegas anyway, so that's less important. And now we're gonna essentially render it. We're gonna make a movie. The choice is making a movie. You'll notice that we didn't use any of these choices over here, and we haven't used any of these other tabs either, which you will be looking at through your tutorial and we'll be using in the future. The power user mode is what we're in, and that's what we're staying in, which gives us more control over the program It doesn't do a lot of stuff for us, which is fine. So anyway, we're going to make movie. I can use the make movie button here, or project and make movie, same thing. And you want to save it to your hard drive, which is your computer, and you would like MP4. And also, you want to make sure you give it a good name. This name is fine here. But most important, you got to make sure you browse and put it in the right place. You're never quite sure where it's going to go. I'm going to go to my work, my grading, and I'm going to save it there. I'm going to select that folder. So now it's going into grading. And I'm just going to say next. Don't worry about the advanced options. Say next. And now you'll see your whole video will travel before your eyes here in this preview window. And then when it is completed, it's going to give you the option to, it's almost completed, it's still trying to complete. It's going to come up and give you the option to either explore the folder, go look at the file, which is a fine thing to do, or play the file. In this case, if you click on play the file, it'll try to play the file in what is the default player for that computer. And that's going to vary depending on where you are. My computer is set up, and most of the labs, our labs here in our classroom, well, 114 anyway, I believe it's set up for VLC, which is a good player. Some of them may want to launch other players, but the idea of looking at the file in a player outside of the program is an important one. Okay, so I'm going to say play file, which is going to open it up in VLC, which is going to take a moment to open, and finally it's going to show me the file, and there it is. And the idea is you need to look at the file to make sure you got what you expected, and I got what I expected. And I could say explore the file if I want to, but I can just say finish. And now that finished file, the MP3, would be the one that you're going to use. Let me just say one more thing about the export. Let's say make movie again, and say I'm going to do this choice again. We don't want this check loop region checked on. We do not want that checked on. Should it ever be checked on, uncheck it. But I believe that's a problem that's fixed in the software where it's not automatically checked on. We do not want that checked on, though. Anyway, if you ever doing a make a movie in this software, something I've noticed it, and I think it's okay, but if you ever export an MP4 and you don't get audio, then choose AVCHD, which is a really good HD video format, which is our camcorder format actually, and which will work fine, but shouldn't be necessary. But that would be a backup file format if anything goes wrong and your MP4 isn't created correctly. But I think this software is fixed now and MP4 should work fine. So I'm going to cancel it out. Guess that's about it. Make sure you upload the correct file. Remember, you got the MP4 and you've got the other file to go with it.